There we go.
Get another shot.
Okay, grade 7, we have coping saws over here. And as you can see, there's a chalk outline for a bunch of the tools you'll need here. Use that chalk outline to make sure you put your tools back in the right spot.
Okay.
Here's a coping saw. And there's 3 main parts to a coping saw. I bet you could tell me what they are.
Handle.
Yeah?
Blade. And the frame. Metal.
Yeah, it's the frame. Good.
You don't have a head.
I don't have a head?
Yeah.
There. There. Okay. Thank you, Allie. Now, I want you to know how to adjust these tools before we start using them. One of the safety rules we just read through is that you want to make sure handles are tight before you use a tool. To do that with a coping saw, you got to hold on to the frame pin, and then you can start loosening it if you're going to take the blade off. Or righty-tighty makes it tighter. Why do you think we have to hold the frame pin?
So then you don't cut yourself? Because if you're not holding it, then your hand could slip and like...
Okay, well, all right, so that's why I have to hold the frame. Maybe I can explain a little more. There's 3 main parts: handle, frame, blade. And then there's also this here. I call these the frame pins. And then once we take a blade off, and in a minute I'll have you all take off your coping saw blade just to look at it and see how it works, and we'll think about how it should be adjusted, which way the teeth should point and all that kind of stuff. There's a different reason we want to hold the frame pin. That's this part here. Maybe I can show you. So I'm still loosening. What's happening if I don't hold that? Yeah, why would that be bad?
You're going to wreck the blade because it's going to twist?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of why we need safety glasses right now. Now I know you're not even holding a tool, but you wear safety glasses not just for what you're doing, but for what the people around you are doing. What could go wrong with this, do you think? You might, all the way across the table, you might need safety glasses. Blake, what do you think?
If you break the blade, it might fly?
Yeah, that's right. This blade's under tension. Here, I'll finish taking it off. I'll hold that pin so it doesn't twist. And if it breaks, now as we're going to loosen it, once you can see the threads, it's probably loose enough. Does anyone know what threads are?
Yeah.
Chase, how would you describe threads?
It like catches something.
Yeah. Yeah, catches something, Cleason?
Little twisty things on a screw?
Yeah, good as the little twisty things. So once you see those little twisty things, and this is kind of more of a bolt, it's probably loose enough. But look, this blade, can you hear that?
Yeah.
It'll still kind of ping a little bit. It's still under tension. And so to finish taking the blade off, we've loosened it. There's not a lot of tension, but there's still a little bit. We'll squish it some, and we'll push it forward. It's safe for your fingers to be behind there or beside there. It's less safe over here. Why is that?
Because that's
Trey?
where it's sharp.
Yeah, that's where it's sharp. We're not testing sharpness on our fingers, are we?
No.
Okay, we covered that. Good. Okay, so and this is a nice straight blade. You can see the pins. If we had kind of forgotten, maybe if I was visiting with Renata and I just started loosening it, I might have twisted it around a few times. Well, when I finally took it off, this probably would be twisted. And it's really hard to cut a straight line when your blade points in a few different directions. So that's one of the things I want you to check for when you all take a coping saw and check it out. Blake.
You don't have a head. Oh, now you do.
Oh yeah, I backed it. I'm not too worried about that video. Don't worry. We'll just leave it, okay? Okay, now, when you put the saw back on, I'd recommend starting with the handle attached. You can see we can take it all apart. But in my opinion, it's a little easier if you start with that threaded on just a little bit. Oh yeah, the teeth. Which way do you think the teeth should go? Can you see the zigzags on there? They're kind of zigzagging like this, or if I were to make a little drawing for you. I would say that those zigzags are pointing that way. And so do we want the zigzags to point towards the handle, or do we want them to point away from the handle?
Away.
Away.
Yeah, and why would that be? Why away?
So if you slip, it doesn't.
Okay, so you're still thinking safety about how I want sharp things pointing away from me. Well, you're right, sharp things should point away. But right now we want to think about, would you rather it be easier to use the saw when you push, or easier to use the saw when you pull?
Push.
Yeah, we want it easier when we push. Just the way your body's set up, your body mechanics, it's easy to pull in a straight line. When you push, it's a little bit harder. So if these teeth are pointing toward the handle, it'll do most of the cutting on the pull stroke, which is nice. So can you get, I don't know, it's really tiny. These are really fine teeth. So it leaves kind of a smooth edge on your workpiece, which we like. I'll tighten it up. And so now it's set up so that when I pull, it'll do most of the cutting. And when we push, it kind of just does a scratch and clears the sawdust out of the cut. I got it tightened up. I'm holding that pin again. Why is that?
So it doesn't twist.
Yeah, we don't want to twist the blade. We like nice straight blades. We like the teeth towards the handle. When you're pushing, that's where it would want to kind of jump in different directions if the teeth were pointing away from you. Any questions about how to safely remove and put the blade on?
So you want the teeth to be pointing away?
You want the teeth pointing towards the handle.
Oh, towards the
So here, why don't I write that here?
Yeah.
Let's say teeth are pointing this way. And handle's there.
Alright, yeah.
There's your handle and there's the... Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, good. Good question, Shrek. Okay. The other thing we just read about is that before you use a tool, you want to know if there's a no finger zone. What do you think the no finger zone would be for a quilting saw? Chloe?
The blade.
Yeah. We do have to touch the back of the blade, right, to take it off of there. So we're going to say the sharp part of the blade, I guess, while you're adjusting it. And then when we're cutting, do you think there needs to be a no finger zone with a quilting saw? Matthew?
Like when you have hands on the wood or something, you gotta put your hand you gotta put it away from the saw handle.
Yeah, now you know what? Once we get this figured out, I'm just going to tell you guys, just go figure it out. I'm not going to give you any more instructions. This is your chance to figure out how to use these tools. And you'll make some mistakes, you'll break some blades, but that's okay. That'll be part of the learning for today. And that's why we're doing a practice that's not important. We're going to say that your entire workpiece is the no finger zone. So if you're working on a block of wood like this and you have maybe a block letter R, I'd get you to put it in the bench vise and then don't touch that workpiece with your hand because that's where it would be dangerous. So the no finger zone for the coping saw is the entire workpiece. Feel like you know what to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Calmly, I'll get girls first.
Girls
ahead
go
and get a saw.
first.
I'm going to turn this off.